It's the I Can Do Anything podcast on a Thursday. Thursdays are usually MVP Matrix days, but I did not put together the MVP Matrix for this week. I've had a really busy week. We've got Gala on Saturday that I've been doing a bunch of video stuff for, just kind of random editing throughout the week. We had senior night for the women's basketball team that I made a bunch of videos for last night. And it's just been you know what? I don't need to fucking justify this. I didn't do it because I can do anything. So there's no MVP Matrix for today. However, I am going to be talking about there's been a lot of moves that happened at the trade deadline. The trade deadline just ended at 3 o'clock today. I think the biggest one, the one that stood out to me the most, was the 76ers move for Tobias Harris and other pieces, including Boban. And they really didn't lose a lot. They lost Landry Shamet, who has been playing really well for them, is a good shooter. Could be, wow, something. I got a peanut stuck in my throat, or a piece of a peanut at least. Landry Shamet could be a good piece, on a winning team, but I think the 76ers made a really great move, and they kind of have it's kind of like a poor man's big four. But they've got a pretty solid big four in Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and now Tobias Harris. 76ers certainly improved. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks really made a really great move to get Mirotic from the Pelicans. They're the best team in the league right now, record-wise. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would say that they're better than the Warriors. But record-wise, the Bucks are the best team in the league right now, and they got better. They really didn't lose anything. Let me pull up the story from that one. Let's see. The Bucks will send veteran center Jason Smith and Stanley Johnson to New Orleans. I didn't even know they had Stanley Johnson. Yeah, they really didn't lose anything. I don't know who Jason Smith even is, and I didn't even know that Stanley Johnson was on their team. Mirotic is having a great year for the Pelicans. When Anthony Davis was healthy, they played really great together. I think he could really help out Antetokounmpo. I think he spreads the floor out really well. He's a great passer for 6'10". Mirotic was having a great year in New Orleans, and I think he adds a really dynamic piece to an already really great Milwaukee team. So that was a big move. Stanley Johnson came from the Pistons. I didn't think he was on the Bucks, but it was a 3-team trade. So New Orleans includes the Pistons and will send multiple second-round picks to the Pelicans. So they really didn't give up a ton. It seems like the Pelicans are rebuilding now that they know that Anthony Davis wants out of there. Anthony Davis was not moved at the trade deadline, and he will stay in New Orleans. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he plays the rest of the season. I think his injury, his finger injury, is healed at this point. But even if it is, it's a finger injury. It's not something that's very serious. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he plays the remainder of the season. I'm trying to find the 76ers trade with the Clippers to see who else was included in that trade from the 76ers. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? In other news with the 76ers, they got rid of Markelle Fultz and sent him to the Magic. So the Magic are sending Jonathan Simmons and the Thunder first round draft pick and a Thunder first round draft pick and a Cavs second round draft pick to the Sixers. And then Jonathan Simmons is included in that as well. Another acquisition was the Clippers got rid of... who did they get rid of? They got rid of Muscala who I don't know who that is, and then Wilson Chandler. Oh no, the Clippers picked up Muscala in their blockbuster trade earlier this week with the 76ers. In that trade, the Clippers traded Tobias Harris to Philadelphia for a haul that included Muscala, Wilson Chandler, and rookie Landry Shamet. So Wilson Chandler was starting for the Sixers, so I guess they gave up a starter. But I think Tobias Harris fills that role really nicely. Wilson Chandler may be a slightly better defender than Tobias Harris, but Tobias Harris adds more scoring. Now that could become an issue for the 76ers because Joel Embiid was already complaining about his use in the offense. And there's only one basketball that you play with. So, Tobias Harris is a good scorer. That's what you bring him in for. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not that brings any turmoil because Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid aren't exactly the passive-aggressive type. I think they'll just come out and say how they feel. In some cases, that's really great. In other cases, it can create problems. But the Clippers also acquired Zubats and Michael Beasley from the Lakers. So it looks like the Clippers are just clearing out space, basically. They got rid of some contracts, and they're just getting rid of whatever they can and taking, Zubats' contract is a rookie contract. I would assume it's really, really small. And then Michael Beasley was just on a 1-year deal. So I'm assuming he won't be on the Clippers next season. It wouldn't surprise. Well, I don't know if you can buy. I don't know what the rules are as far as buyouts. If you can buy out somebody's contract and make them available, after the trade deadline. I think there's another deadline for that type of thing, but I could have just made that up in my head. Some other trades that happened. Shumpert went to the Rockets from the Kings. I think it's a really good piece for Houston that adds some defense. However, it adds defense as they try to replace Trevor Ariza, who was a great 3-point shooter, which is what the Houston lives on. And a great defender, and I think Shumpert is a great defender, and certainly will help them out defensively on the wing and give them a guy that can guard Kevin Durant a little bit. I mean, nobody really can guard Kevin Durant, but Iman Shumpert can do a pretty good job on those scoring wings. At least they have somebody other than PJ Tucker as a stopper, so to speak. And then Harrison Barnes got traded from the Mavs mid-game last night against the Bobcats. And I think that makes the Kings a lot better. The Kings are having a great year, and that just adds another really good scorer. Harrison Barnes, I don't know. He was really great during the regular season on the Warriors back in 2014 and 15, and I think maybe even 16. I can't remember when. I feel like he got traded after the 15-16 season after they lost to the Cavs. I could be wrong though, but he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Playing for the Mavs, just kind of just out of nobody really. People don't talk about Harrison Barnes anymore. Because the Mavs have been pretty horrible. They were terrible last year, and this year they started off pretty great and have leveled out. The Mavs have made a lot of moves though in the last week with the Kristaps Porzingis trade. They got a couple guys from New York, Trey Burks and Tim Hardaway Jr., and then obviously Kristaps Porzingis, who seems like he probably won't play this year. If I were the Mavs, I would just keep him out the same way New York was, and try to get a good draft pick to go along with Porzingis and Luka, and because this next draft class is going to be a really good one. Some other notable trades. The 76ers also got James Ennis from Houston. And who did they give up in that one? The Rockets reportedly acquired veteran swingman. Oh no, that's Iman Shumpert. Oh, get the swap rights to the 2021 to a 2021 second round pick. But I guess the major thing was that the Lakers never made a move for AD. It seemed like in the last couple of days, talks kind of fizzled out between the two teams after LA offered, they offered the house basically. They offered all those young assets for Anthony Davis, and the young assets, including some draft picks, weren't enough for the Pelicans. And I'm really glad. I don't think it was a good decision to try to get rid of all those young pieces just to get Anthony Davis this season, because I don't know. Maybe I still think they could probably get Anthony Davis in free agency. But that's, again, that's probably not going to be till not this coming off season, but the following off season. I don't know exactly how his contract is structured. I don't know. I don't think this next season is a player option where he could become a free agent in this off season. But I can do anything, so I could be completely wrong. I think that's really all that. The trade stuff that I see. The Raptors, I know, we're going after Marc Gasol, and I'm not sure whether or not that one actually finalized. I don't think that it happened. The trade deadline was at 3:00. I'm pretty sure it never happened. Grizzlies center Marc Gasol is reportedly on his way to the Raptors. What the fuck does that mean? Is he on the way to the Raptors or not? The trade deadline's over, and it doesn't say that he went to the Raptors. The story on NBA.com is Raptors nearing deal for Marc Gasol. Memphis is finalizing a trade to send center Marc Gasol to Toronto, league sources tell ESPN. That came at... What time did that come from? 1:53 p.m. from Woj on Twitter. Toronto is planning to send Valanciunas, Delon Wright, CJ Miles, and a 2024 second-round pick to the Grizzlies for Gasol. So maybe it did happen. If, in that case, it did happen, that's great. That's really, really great for Toronto. They don't necessarily play a fast pace, right now. So I don't think he hurts them pace wise. I think that's the only fear any of these teams had with Marc Gasol, was that he's kind of a slow paced player. He certainly stretches the floor pretty well, and is a great inside player for the Grizzlies and has been a great inside player his whole career. And I think that makes the Raptors, the East is really interesting now. The 76ers added a great piece. The Raptors look like they've added a great piece, and the Bucks all added a great piece. So, three of the top, two of those teams are the top two teams in the East, and then the 76ers, I think, are fourth. Let me pull up the standings. I'm not sure who's in... Oh, the 76ers are fifth. So the Celtics have moved up to third. Indiana has dropped to fourth from third. And then the 76ers are in fifth. But they're only a game out of the fourth seed. A game out of the third seed, actually. And then 4.5 games out of the second seed. And then, what would that be? 6.5 games out of first place. So... that makes the East really, really interesting. 3 of the top 5 teams in that case added great pieces. I mean, Marc Gasol has been an all-star in this league. Mirotic is a great piece in a league. He's a shooter in a league that shooters play in. Oh, fuck. All right, what else am I going to talk about? The Lakers got blown out by the Pacers the other night. I can't watch the Pacers games because they're in my region and an NBA League Pass blocks those games out. But I was following with it on the NBA app on my phone, and it was a blowout at the end of the third quarter. So I didn't even bother. I didn't even look at the box score from that game. I was really pissed off the other night, though, on Saturday night when the Lakers and the Warriors were playing, and then like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or something before the game, I got the report that LeBron wasn't going to play because he was sore when he woke up. I think that was like one of the very few times, I should say, in the last like 5 to 10 years, maybe in LeBron's career, that I remember being like kind of pissed off. Like, dude, come on. I want to watch you play basketball. You know? I was not happy that he wasn't playing in that game, so I didn't fucking watch it, and I went to sleep because I just boycotted it. If you're not going to play, fuck it. I'm not watching it. It really all it did was didn't necessarily hurt LeBron. It just hurt the NBA and showed that people aren't going to watch an NBA game. They're less likely to watch an NBA game if LeBron's not playing in it. But let me pull up the box score from that Pacers-Lakers game from, I think that was Tuesday night. Yeah, it was Tuesday night. Final score was 136-94, the biggest loss in LeBron James's career. And he had 18 points on 58% shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 40% from 3, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 turnovers. A pretty, I don't know, below average game for LeBron. Certainly in the points department, but his assists were higher than his average, and his rebounds were right about his average. But 18 points is about 10 points below his average. Kuzma had 12, Ingram had 12, Rondo had 3, 6 assists for Rondo. Just a pretty poor all-around game. And then I can't remember if it was after the Pacers game or if it was after the Warriors game, that those players, including Beasley and JaVale McGee, I think it was, that were reportedly in a little tiff with Coach Walton. I don't really understand all the talk around Walton not being the coach that people want. When LeBron hasn't been playing. I don't get it. Like, you don't have the best player in the world on your roster who normally is on your roster. They were like second or third in the West before LeBron got injured and just beat the Warriors like handily on Christmas Day. And LeBron didn't even play in those last like couple of quarters, the last quarter and a half. I don't remember when he got injured in that game, but they were playing really well with LeBron, and then he goes out for over a month, and they dropped to what are they, 9th in the West now? I think they're still probably 9th in the West. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, they've fallen to 10th, but they're just a game out of the 10th or the 9th spot. Sacramento has moved up into the 9th spot. The Clippers are still in the first spot, or not the first spot, the 9th spot. I don't know. I was just watching, what's his name, on First Take, not First Take, on Undisputed and on Colin Cowherd's show. LeVar Ball. That guy's a fucking idiot. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's definitely not an idiot, but like, he's just saying stuff like he always has been. And people talk about it. Here I am talking about it. He said that fucking Lonzo's better than LeBron and just makes a bunch of excuses for his son. I don't like it. I don't mind the hustle. I don't knock that. But he just says just makes excuses. And it's just a lot of pipe dreams and a lot of just stuff that's probably never going to happen. LeBron James isn't going to win an NBA championship without Lonzo. Like, dude, he's already done it. Your son's been in the league for 2 years, and he's been injured for like probably 40% of the games that he's been in the league for, that he could have played in. He's been injured too much. I don't know. He just talks, and it's created a brand for himself. But I mean, I guess he's got to say that his son is better than LeBron James when he's on national television on a talk show. but kind of pissed me off. Some other games from the past couple of days. Raptors 76ers was a good one on Tuesday night too. I just caught a little bit of that game. Joel Embiid was really great though. Had finished with 37 points and 13 rebounds, but it wasn't enough. The Raptors just played well as a team in general. Leonard had 24, Siakam had 16, Ibaka had 20, Lowry had 20. They got a couple guys in double figures off the bench. Antetokounmpo played really well last night against the Wizards. Had 43 points on fucking 17 of 21% shooting from the field. What is that percentage-wise? 81% from the field. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 43 points on 81% shooting. That's really impressive. And just obliterated the Wizards 148 to 129. All of the Bucks were in double figures. Middleton had 16, Lopez 11, Brogdon 18. Brogdon played really well. Shot 7 of 14% from the field. I was watching that a little bit during the women's basketball game on my phone, and then came home and was able to catch like the last quarter and a half. Watched a little bit of the Mavs Hornets. You know what's really, really entertaining? If you want to watch some funny shit, watch the Mavericks play basketball, because when Dirk is in the game, watching him play now is so funny. The way he plays defense, and just he's hobbling around the court, like even, like when he's trying to block out for a rebound, or like go after like a semi-loose ball, or even on offense. Like Dirk is fascinating to watch play basketball now, but for the wrong reasons. He's just an old guy, and he moves so slow. I mean, he was already slow, like he's big. He's a fucking legit 7-footer. And he was already slow, and now that he's old, it is hilarious to watch him try to play defense. That was a low-scoring game, though. Doncic finished with 10 rebounds and 11 assists. The Mavericks won 99-93. Kemba Walker played well. I didn't get to see a ton of him. I don't think I started watching until the second half. But I don't. He really. Now that I'm thinking about it, he really wasn't in the game much when I was watching it. He was in the game late, and they tried to make a little push there towards the end. He didn't get a foul call that he wanted down the stretch. I was only kind of half paying attention. Harden's 30-point plus game, points per game thing, that fucking streak that he's on, it got bigger. He had 36 last night in a 127-101 win over the Kings. So that's a good win for the Rockets. That's a team that's surging in the West, the Kings. So that's a good win for the Rockets. And then the Warriors beat the piss out of the Spurs last night. Kevin Durant's comments to the press after the game, I thought were great. I kind of liked it. I listened to that this morning, and I was just shaking my head the whole time I was listening to it. Like, yeah, I get it, dude. You're making a lot of good points. I'm just trying to play basketball. You guys are asking me about free agency and all this shit. I don't got nothing to do with the Knicks. I'm just trying to play basketball the right way, be a good person, and y'all are bringing up all this fucking crazy stuff, asking my teammates about where I'm going to be next year. I get it. It makes sense. I feel for them a little bit. That would be annoying as fuck if people came to your job every day and were just asking you all this stuff and putting stuff out there so that your boss saw it. I don't know. That would piss a lot of people off. I think that would piss those same reporters asking those questions. If you came to their office and started shouting amongst all the cubicles and went into their boss's office and said, "I heard that so and so from the Boston Globe's thinking about going over to the New York blah blah blah," they'd be like, "Oh, you're going to New York?" Like that would piss a lot of people off, and I think he's right to voice his opinion on that. And I just like the way he went about it. He was really calm about it, and he was really he was calm, but he was frank, and he was to the point, and he got the message across, and talked directly to a couple guys, and even named one guy by name. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I finished watching that video, and I thought to myself, "Good for you, Kevin. Good for you." Stick it to those fucking reporters. I'm a local reporter, but I couldn't, having played basketball, I couldn't be a local reporter that like covered basketball like that. I couldn't pander to those fucking guys and treat them like, I don't know. I couldn't like treat them one way when the cameras were on and when I wasn't trying to get a story. You just have to have a certain relationship with guys like that. And you know, when you're a reporter covering a team or covering the league, you gotta like, to them you're always a reporter. And I would assume that some of these reporters, like when they're off, I don't know, I couldn't ask them the questions that you'd have to ask them as a reporter. I would want to, as a former basketball player, I would want to just talk about basketball and like, I don't know, I guess that's what a reporter does. They talk to them about basketball, but they just have to, they have to ask all the piercing, you know, the pointing, the questions that lead you, I don't know, as a player, you're just like thinking like, what are they trying to get at here? What are they trying to get me to say? I would just not want to have that kind of relationship with a basketball player. I would want to just fucking shoot the shit and talk basketball. That's why I hope that someday if this thing were to become something that people actually listen to, that I could have basketball players on here and just talk about basketball from a basketball perspective and not from a like interview perspective. I just want to fucking shoot the shit, man. I'm excited about some of the games tonight. The TNT game tonight, first one, Lakers Celtics at 8. That'll be really interesting. I'm sure they'll talk about all the Kyrie and LeBron stuff. At 7 o'clock, we got the live draft. I wonder how that's going to work because LeBron is doing the drafting for his team, and he's got a game an hour later. I wonder how. I never really thought about that till just this moment. I don't know how that'll work. Maybe they did the draft already, and they're just going to televise like the actual picks as they, I don't know. I guess they probably already drafted the teams, and then they're just going to televise the picks sort of the way they televise like the March Madness seeding. But I wish it was I wish it was like a live thing where like LeBron and Antetokounmpo were sitting in like directors' chairs next to each other, and they had a lineup, you know, the same way it would be on the playground. And they had a lineup of the guys, and they're like, I got you. And then the next guy's like, I got you, you know, like that would be really fucking cool. And I'm now just realizing that I don't think I'm as excited for it because it's not going to be like that because LeBron plays an hour later. Fuck. That sucks. Well, I'm way less excited for that now, but that's tonight at 7 o'clock. And then Lakers Celtics. And then the next TNT game is Spurs Trailblazers. Thanks for listening, guys. That about wraps it up. You can do anything. So can I. We all can do anything. Just go do anything.